And the time?
5:11 p.m.
Thank you.
Well, welcome to the May 2023 meeting of the Revitalization Trust Fund. We are basically we're going to skip the first piece of the agenda because we don't have a quorum to be able to vote at the moment, but we will make our way through the rest of the minutes, and welcome to Carol and Amy. First is update on a new bench sponsorship for the Amity Path that I have taken a walk out with the person who is interested in being able to do a bench there. And we found the location. I'm in the process of being able to validate that the location we have found will work for the oversight of the people who oversee the Amity Path. The Board of Selectmen ultimately is, and my understanding is the oversight and decision makers for that. But I want to check with Ed Olson and anyone else that we need to, just to make sure that all the bases are covered to confirm the location. And from there, we'll move forward in terms of being able to get the bench selection and continue on to, to be able to move through the process with a new celebration bench.
Where is Amity Path?
It is the path that runs, if you are behind 500 Dedham Ave, the PSAB, that it's the path that runs around the lake back there.
Okay.
And it was renovated 8 years ago, six or 8 years ago. They did an absolutely beautiful job, and it is very used. I mean, people love walking out there. Every time that Gabrielle and I have gone over there to take walks, we always pass people out there walking. In fact, it was funny, a couple of months ago when we were out there walking, Marcus was out there walking the path. so that made it even more fun. But
Yes.
yeah, it's a beautiful spot, and the the revitalization that they did of the whole path area is just beautiful. So number two, just as far as on the benches, this is not directly on the agenda, but another piece of information about it. I just received an email from Emily, who is the new town specialist working with Miles, and she has given me the contact information for a person who would like to be able to do a celebration bench at Cricket Field. So as maybe Amy, you know the answer to this, but my recollection is that Park and Recreation oversees Cricket Field.
That's my understanding, but I can confirm that for you.
Okay, that'd be great. Because once I know that, then I will send off a note to them and give them a heads up that we'd be interested in doing something like that, and running the process through them for an approval. Next is on benches, is that I got a call on Tuesday that said from the trucking company that is delivering the Dave DiCicco bench for Greensfield. And so that was supposedly it was set up to be able to be delivered yesterday. and Ed Olson was spoke to him directly and connected him with the trucker, and so they were going to try to be able to get that bench. They were going to receive the bench and then get it actually placed as soon as they had an open opportunity. So that'll be wonderful, and then we'll set up a dedication for it just as soon as the bench is actually in place. So that's
Now,
exciting.
This is going to be, who doing this? Who's going to be?
The Needham flag football was coordinated between Needham flag football, Matt Borelli, and the DeChico family, who originally asked the question and wanted to be able to have see if they could do something for the coach to be able to, just have a wonderful celebration of all the years that he coached the kids. So, and that gives us a second out of the benches being replaced. And we have, if I recall correctly, 2 more that can be done there. And I do have someone who contacted me a few months ago who wanted to inquire about a potential one there also. So we'll just keep rolling along and and do more celebration benches.
Now, we still don't know anything on the DeChico one?
No, to check out. That's the one that just came in.
Oh, that is just the one.
It's arrived. I haven't physically been there to be able to physically inspect it. I'm going to be talking to Ed tomorrow, hopefully, just to find out what the status of being able to install it is. But I sent him a photograph before I left, a photograph of specifically where that bench was going to be placed. There's already a footing where the existing wood slat and concrete footing bench is. So there wasn't any real preparation that had to be done other than mounting, tying it down to the existing pad.
And this
So,
his is going to where now?
this is
DeChico. To where?
Greenfield.
Greenfield. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Greenfield. And it's the front, there's a front walkway section there that has a variety of benches in it. And right now the Brenda Stark bench replaced one of them. The Dave DeChico bench is now replacing another. And we have permission from the Park and Recreation to be able to continue to just replace the benches in that front section with the exact same style bench as we have donors to be able to accomplish it. Third next agenda item is about on the Charles River cleanup. I'm waiting to hear back from Hannah, who is supposed to get back to me hopefully shortly about the setup to get the cleanup organized. And I sent her all the details, gave her detailed information about what is what was involved with it, and we lost our your picture. You still there? Okay, good. All right. So they basically are going to help coordinate. They wanted to be the coordination of doing this. So I'm working with them, and because we are trying to get this accomplished before school lets out, so that we have a larger volunteer
vacation.
Actually, yeah. And Eric was actually going to help in terms of being able to coordinate some people from the or rally people by the contacts that he has also through some of the sports teams.
Bradley had talked to them.
Well, Brad was going to work on that, but he resigned because of his work. But Eric is actually going to has contacts because he has kids who play on the different sports teams, and he wants to be. And he said he knows a lot of the parents there. He knows the coaches, and he was going to help be able to rally people for volunteers to be able to do this. Also, in conjunction with the Park and Recreation. So I'm hoping that at our June meeting that we will have not only reported on the fact that the coordination all happened, but that the event is actually successfully done. So that's
interestingly enough, today's Needham paper that they, send out on Thursdays, show a picture of some children who by themselves, there were, I don't know how many started it out, at least 2 or 3, was going into the woods, and they were picking up. And now that's been a big thing because people wanted to help do that.
Mhm. Well, that's essentially what this project is, because most of the stuff is, in the tree line to the
Yes.
side of the road, where the plastic bottles, other things that have, when I went down and did a cleanup last year on the areas that I could do where there was a safe pull-off on Charles River Street, that there were pillow cushions, there were, all kinds of stuff. So it's amazing to think of,
What people do.
yeah, and
Yes.
some of it just falls off trucks, and then rolls off
That's
into the
true. Yeah. Yeah, when it's close like that.
Yeah, well, that's great. Because that'll gives a little more visibility to the fact that this is an important thing to do, and hopefully we'll get some people to rally to do it as soon as we can, get this the date. The main thing that we've been trying to be able to get from Park and Recreation has been the date to do it.
Right.
If they get the date, then we can help rally the people.
That's right.
So that's where we're at as far as that
Okay.
goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next agenda. Yeah. Next agenda item is the Mass Arts and Culture Working Group. I got a note from Charlie Nanda asking about getting people to fill out the survey. Originally, one of the things that was intended was that the survey, which was created, was going to hopefully be filled out by what the goal was 5,000 people.
That might have
right
been a
now.
little ambitious on my part.
well, no, you got to start high, right now. Right now, I think we're trying to be able to rally 500. We're at 142. So, and it has to be completed by the end of May. So, basically, she contacted us, and she's contacted a whole variety of different people to help rally people to just fill out the survey.
Mhm.
So, anyone that we can reach out to be able to help do this. If, obviously, if we can get 500, that's at least a reasonable sample.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
So, if every member of every town committee filled it out and then forwarded it on, even to just 2 or 3 people that they know in town, basically we're trying to take a temperature of residents to get an understanding of what they value for arts and culture in Needham, because then that data is going to be used to help shape an arts and cultural action plan. And if we ever want to get to the point where we're going to request more resources from the town for arts and culture, right now the town does give a small amount. They just started last year to the Needham Council for Arts and Culture for annual grants to local artists and musicians. If we want to get to the point where we are advocating for more resources, whether it be for NCRTF or the Arts and Cultural Council, it would be nice to be able to say, there's a lot of support for arts and culture in Needham, because look at all of the survey responses we got. Out of a community of 32,000 people, we've only gotten 142 responses. That's disappointing, to be honest. It's a lengthy survey. It takes about 15 minutes, and I get it that people are busy. But I think the message that it would send, that, if everybody could take 15 minutes and complete it, it would send a strong message that there is support for programming and performance space and events that meet this criteria.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's incredibly important, and I do think some of the issue may be the length of the survey. Because it can take, if you're really thinking about answering the questions, it can take a while to fill it out. So
Yeah.
that's, in a 3-minute attention span world, it's tough to be able to get people to sit and do that as a as a project. But we need the input. And one of the things I wanted to be able to do is ask you, Amy, is how do we verify that our survey was received? Like, because sometimes with connections, things like that, I was trying to go back and say, I sent it, but how do I know that they actually got it? I mean, I'll do it over again if I need to, but
Well,
I just wanted to know that
I would assume that, I mean, if you got to that last question, you hit submit, and then you got some kind of message on the screen saying, thank you for participating in the survey, that you should assume that your survey responses have been submitted and received. So
I just wondered if they could, is there someone that could check the list to make sure that it got that?
yeah, we can do that.
Because I mean, of all people, I don't want to have not, I don't want to go on the list of not having submitted when I know I did this thing. And I think it's a very, I think it's terrific. It asked a lot of really thought-provoking questions. So I'd just like to, just to be sure that they got it.
Yeah, I'll check on that.
Yeah, and if they didn't, just let me know. I'll go back in again. It's because, depending on where I'm at, sometimes the connection's not always the perfect experience. So that'd be great. All right. I've already given you the update on the DeChico bench. So that was wonderful. Life is Good profile. Well, I was looking, I got a note from Jessica.
I'm here now.
Oh, hey, there you are. Well, you want to talk about the Life is Good updates? This is perfect timing.
Sure. And I'm sorry I was late. I was trapped in traffic for way too long. I have that feeling where I feel like I can still feel a car engine underneath me, even though I'm sitting still in the house now. Anyway, it was terrible. But so I'm sorry I'm late. But yeah, so where we are, we got some more photos from someone who works at Life is Good. So I mean, I think there are a lot of photos to choose from now, Paul. I mean, I took a look at them. They look great. Some of the older photos I really like. I still don't know whether the quality is good enough, but I guess the artist is the one to make the final call on that. But there are pictures of them selling t-shirts out of a truck and t-shirts out of a storage unit and sort of working on the road, working in crowds, just sort of interesting depictions of them building the business. As well as some pictures we had before of, them when they were little kids living in Needham with their families. So I think there's some good candidates there, but again, it's ultimately, I guess, up to the artist as to what will work well where. But I don't know if you had any more conversations with him, Paul.
Well, actually, what I was going to do is follow up with him between now and the weekend, just to be able to, see what he thinks. And also make sure that he was able to open and look at the other photos and that kind of stuff, because he was thinking that he would be fine. But obviously we want to make sure we stay ahead of this thing, and he's got some good. He's got more than a month to be able to assemble it, but I want to make sure that he thinks the photo. If we have to go back and if we're missing, like we really want a couple of photos for this particular type of thing, because that's an important part of the whole story, then I want to make sure we have time to be able to, to rally that. So,
yeah. So
I'll be in touch with Seymour to be able to ask him about that.
Okay, great.
And then
go ahead.
No, then the next one was about the feedback on the fourth quarter.
Looking forward for the next one, you mean?
Yes. You
Yeah.
had a couple of choices that you had given to the sponsor.
Yeah. So our newest sponsor is Michael Baylett, who I happen to know because my kids were in some shows with his kids at Needham Community Theater and with him, where he's really active and a very nice guy. He owns a healthcare consulting company, and he offered to sponsor the next mural. So I did finally reach him. We were playing phone tag for a little bit, but I did finally reach him and we talked. And he, I threw out some names that, I was aware of that still haven't been used that might be good candidates. And he really latched on to Charlie Baker and Frank Malzone, who was a Red Sox player. He's actually deceased now, but he was a Golden Glove winner. He was a really, really good player. He actually lived on my street, which is interesting. But so anyway, he kind of latched on to those two possibilities. Charlie Baker, he knows personally and professionally. I think they went to Needham High School together. And I think he said they were like in a play together or something. But also he did a lot of work in healthcare, so they know each other professionally. So he likes that idea. And then he also really loves the Red Sox, so he likes the Frank Malzone idea also. So he said he wanted to give it some thought, and he would sort of choose one or the other and get back to me. And yeah, so that was good. Like I said, Frank Malzone is deceased, so if he chooses him, we will have to track down family members to review all of this, because obviously we can't have him do it. I believe actually Michael Baylett knows his son as well, Frank Malzone's son, because he made some reference to him. So maybe he can help us track him down to review everything if we go that route. Obviously, if he chooses Charlie Baker, he himself can look at it, or someone who works for him can. But I think they'd both be good candidates. They're different from what we've done so far. They work in different fields than the people we've covered so far. So I don't know. I think they would both be pretty good choices, but I told Mike just to let me know what he thought. I did speak to him last week, so I'll give him like another week, and then I'll follow up and see if he's made a decision. So that's where we are on that.
That sounds great.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's really awesome, because it's been really wonderful, the type of response that we've gotten, from people to be able to do these sponsorships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, and the fact that we have 4 restaurants doing the one for Tiger, and we've got Life is Good. Then the Life is Good team are the actual sponsors of the next one, and then whichever one that turns out to be with Michael Balin as the sponsor, which is terrific. And once we get his nailed down, and you validate that we can get the the content for it, then I'll start to promote getting the sponsorships for 2024.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get too far ahead of it. From an administrative point, it's just, we don't need to be that far ahead.
Right.
But I think it's fantastic, and people have been very excited about it. When I tell people about the program, they go, "Wow, that's really neat." And I said, "Well, stroll over to the side of Needham Center Fine Wines and read about the next person, because it's a lot of fun."
Yeah, I've seen people reading it. I've driven by and seen people reading it, which is nice. And the people who are featured are so flattered. I mean, Tiger was so visibly touched by it. It was nice. It was that's a nice thing to do.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he had 5 people from Japan, from the government of Japan here to be able to celebrate with him. And that was awesome. One funny aside on that is that we were doing, this is the first time we have used the new material, which has worked out tremendously better. I mean, the vinyl was good, but this PVC panel that we print onto now was one of the reasons we wanted to test this, because it's the material that we want to be able to use for the art gallery, and it's worked out terrifically. But the funny thing was that we did a second when we were doing the sizing to make sure it would fit into the frame properly, that it was a little bit big on the initial one. So we had a reprint done that was cut to a slightly different size, so it would fit, perfectly into the frame. And so the one that we had originally done, that we were going to give to Seymour Levy as just a thank you for, for all the tremendous work he's been doing putting these things together. So, because he really wanted it. So I was just going to, cover the cost of whatever it was, just to be able to, as a thank you to him. But when we went to give it to him, that he had just moved into a new place. He was downsizing, and he looked at the dimension. He goes, "Paul, I love this thing, and I was really excited to be able to have it, but it's too big for my wall." So I was like, okay. So instead I called up Tiger and said, hey, would we have, this is the situation, and would you like to have, this as a memento for you? And he goes, I would love to have that. He goes, I've got a wall in my studio that would be just right for it. So I said, that's fantastic. So I brought it over to him, and he was very excited about the whole thing, and he's going to put it up in his studio. So
Yeah.
Good.
And we now have the exact dimensions of the of the perfect fit for it.
Do we have a date set for the one with Life is Good?
Not yet. I was going
Okay.
to basically start to nail them down for that sometime in early June, so that we can advertise it. Wanted to see if there's anything that, in terms of the, I've mentioned this already to Roy, who was Roy Heffernan, who was the one who's coordinating it. But he wanted to be able to get a little bit closer to the schedule time, so that he would know what their Bert and John's schedules looked like, to be able to nail it down. I said, basically we have flexibility within July, rather, as soon as whatever the optimal time is, but we'd like to do it as early in July as we can.
Yeah.
But if we can do it anytime in the first or second week of July, that would be one. So I'll get back to him on that, just to follow up and see if he's got any more information. In fact, I'll give him a call next week and just or at least get an update as to where they're at. Let's see. All righty. And that is the end of the agenda that I have. Is there anything else that you have, Carol, or something else, Jessica, that you want to bring up?
Like we're meeting in June.
Yeah.
We need to set that up. The 22nd or 29th.
I think I could do either.
School is out when, Jessica?
Let's see. I think the final day of classes is June 8th, and the final day of exams, I think, is June 15th. So fairly early this year compared to prior years, but I think they'll be completely done by June 15th. So
Okay.
at the high school, at least.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the elementary schools, but
I would think, double check. Hopefully well, let me do this. I don't want to, my calendar is in my phone and we are on the phone. Sometimes when you switch things, people go away. But it would seem like maybe the June 22nd date might be better.
I feel that too. Yeah.
Because we don't have a meeting in July.
right.
And so, and then by June 22nd, people are, you know, heading for vacations, all kinds
That's
of traveling. So, so the earlier I would say, the better.
Yeah. Okay.
So why don't we tentatively say that it'll be June 22nd, and I'll double check on my calendar, but and we'll send out a note to the committee just to verify that June 22nd works.
Yeah, okay.
All righty. So Jessica, any other thoughts or comments or information?
Nope, nothing I can think of.
I had mentioned at the beginning, before you were in, that Marcus has now become a town meeting member.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And so, yeah, but not so great for us because I'm going to talk to him tomorrow, but the odds are we're going to be looking for 3 members instead of 2. So, but we will, Amy is, you know, putting together, we talked a little bit about being able to put not only, you know, some extra mentions in the communications that Amy has at hand for the town, but also including the link that we use on the website that tells the story of the Revitalization Trust Fund, so people get an idea of, you know, the projects we do and the kinds of things we do, and to be able to have that in conjunction with the write-up for it. So I'm sure over the summer we'll hopefully rally, since we won't. People will not have to attend a meeting until at least August or maybe September. So I think that, you know, if we can rally the people to be able to get at least two more members onto the committee, that would be great. As of right now, we still have a quorum, so we're still able to vote if all 4 members are in attendance at the meeting. So that's a good thing, and you know, we'll find some
Right.
new wonderful people to be able to help rally to new projects.
Right.
Sounds good.
So, Amy, anything else that you'd like to share and that we?
No, I don't have any updates to share other than what we've discussed already. So
All right. The town common has been very positively received from things that I've heard.
yeah, the tent went up. I don't know if you saw it before you left, but there's a tent now on the common over the center oval, over the Adirondack chairs, and it's very heavily used, which is great. And I've been seeing people of all ages, very intergenerational. I see grandparents with, you know, little ones, and I see middle school kids and high school kids and people of all ages using the town common, which is really so wonderful. So
That's great. Do you know what about the? There was a couple of items that still had to be put in place. One of them was the swings.
yes, so those look like they're going to be installed sometime in June, but we're getting updates on that. You know, a lot of stuff has been slow coming as far as you know, back ordered supply chain issues that you hear about certainly has impacted this. So I mean, by the end of the summer, all of the pieces will be in place, and then there'll be a community celebration planned for when everybody gets back after Labor Day.
That's great.
Good.
That would be cool. All right. Well, then I think our last piece of business is to have an motion to adjourn. And since there's only 2 of us, yeah, well, 3 of us total, right? So
Yeah.
that I would like to make a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Favor.
In favor.
Jessica. All right. Well, thank you all for coming out and joining us here, and we will look forward to the June meeting, and hopefully have well, I know we'll have definitely some updates on a variety of different things that we just talked about, and we'll keep on rocking forward. So thank you so much for all your work, and Jessica for all the research and the great stuff you're doing for helping us with the From Needham to the World project, and Carol for, basically making sure that we get everything documented and being a support person through everything. So really appreciate it. And Amy is like the pivotal person, the person that when we go, okay, now what do we do now?
That's my
Yeah.
job. Happy to do it. So thank you guys
But,
for volunteering your time and continuing this wonderful work. So we'll look forward to seeing you next month.
What time do you have?
I have 5:47 p.m.
5:47. Thank you.
All right. Good night,
All right.
everyone.
Thanks so much.
Good night.
Thank you.